James Bond.
Yeah, because they're European. Yeah, I know.
And
the British don't do that.
Right.
Brosnan, yeah.
Now, in the olden days, they didn't ask our stars embarrassing questions like they do now. That's how we know this, but from Fan Magazine interviews.
Okay.
So James Dean, Sal Benio, and Elvis Presley, it's on their autopsies. We do our homework.
So Elvis was not
Right.
circumcised.
That's true.
Interesting.
He was a hooded hero.
Oh my God. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised that they still are. Do you just do this voluntarily?
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'm wacko. And the cause, I'm a minor of God. And I try to keep it lightweight.
So I assume you were circumcised. And
I am a victim.
A victim. But you know what? We are victims of reproduction.
Yes.
We did not consent to birth and procreation.
That's true.
See?
I have that.
Do you have children?
No, that didn't happen to me.
You didn't? Okay, you're child free.
That's true,
Oh.
which gave me time to come down here and fight.
Yes, see. I'm child free also, and I have a video. I have a channel, it's Child Free Diane.
Oh, okay.
You want to, but I'm going to do a video connecting circumcision in with the non-consensual aspect of birth. Child Free Diane.
Of course.
Thank you, and thanks for being child free, because you haven't gambled with anybody's life, nor have you impacted the environment.
Okay. How are you? Oh, thank you. There's another. Okay, you were telling me non-consensual circumcision coupled with what?
Birth was non-consensual.
Okay.
Yes. Birth is non-consensual.
Yes. And it kind of came with then a lot of responsibility for the parents to take care of the kid because they didn't have a choice in this.
No. But every genetic problem that is passed on, whether it's like vision, like I have, I wear prescription lenses for nearsightedness. Like, I did not consent to that. Some people, they have juvenile diabetes. Some people have deformities. Some people have afflictions and defects from birth. They didn't consent to that. And it's equal to circumcision because the parents dictated that for the child.
Yes, people who are medically incompetent to make surgical decisions, we are at the hands, us guys are at the hands of. Yeah. And you girls came along and said we had a right to make decisions about our bodies. The guys are going, who knew?
But female genital mutilation, that's really horrific.
Okay, majority of it, there's a spectrum. But the vast majority of it takes the clitoral hood, the female foreskin, exposing the sex organ, and that's exactly what they do to the boys in America. Exactly the same, and that is a felony to do to a girl. But it's like, oh well. In America, it's oh well. Of course we do that. See, it's culturally blind, but we can see it in other cultures.
I think it's very cosmetic. I think like women like the pictures, and you don't see uncut penis as much, but to me it looks gross.
Okay.
It's icky.
I love you, by the way. You're honest.
Yeah.
Excellent. Because this is an honest, true thing, and for me, this is an uphill battle.
I know. I'm sure it is.
Okay.
And the men I've talked to that were circumcised, they are glad they're circumcised. They do not want. They are glad it was gone.
Okay. Well, let's take this one step at a time. Now, what we are accustomed to is what we prefer. Women in Europe are accustomed to more sensitive, more responsive, slippery, more intimate experience with their man because the underside of the foreskin has 10 to 20,000 nerve endings. There's more intimacy.
And there's smegma too.
Natural lubrication, which women produce more of, chemically identical. Do you have a problem with that?
Smegma?
Yeah, the vaginal secretions, which is chemically identical to smegma, is what men produce. Do you have a problem with that? Is that a horrible thing to live with? 2, men do not circumcise men when they say, "I'm glad I'm circumcised." What do they have to compare it to?
They don't have they you know what they don't. They can only hear
stories.
But I don't think men talk about the loss of their foreskin.
When I started here 20 years ago, this is something people didn't talk about.
I know.
I'm an old hippie, and I find out something we can't talk about. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about.
I do have one particular story.
Yes.
And there's someone in my family, and he was in the service, and he somehow got infections or whatever, and he had to get his foreskin removed in the service, and he was about 18 or 19. He says it was excruciating, the healing process, and it was very, very painful. So that's, I guess, the negative aspect of keeping the foreskin on and perhaps having to remove it later.
Well, there's a couple things. One is, we're going to do this to an infant that's delicate and weak and can't prepare itself for the event and had no choice in it, compared to a man who has chosen. Oh yeah, by the way, do we amputate at last resort or first opportunity? It's medically unethical to do this. It's not indicated. No medical organization on earth recommends it, by the way. Okay, so it's going someplace else, but that was a good place. In Poland, when the Iron Curtain fell, the women got a hold of Playgirl, and they were aghast at what they saw. That's not at all what they see at home.
No, but
why would they do that to the Venice men?
I think in Playgirl they pull it back because the foreskin is not. It looks droopy and saggy. So
no, it's mainly American models that are circumcised in Playgirl.
Really?
And so this is totally foreign to the Polish women. After they finally got a hold of Playgirl. So what we are accustomed to is what we prefer. Now only 1 out of 5 baby boys on the West Coast are circumcised, so little girls that grow up with them, that's what they'll be accustomed to. The future is bright.
But you know, I also think if an uncircumcised guy was to model, I don't think he would prefer the natural look, unless he's like from sub-Saharan Africa, and they don't. It's everywhere to be natural. But I think any kind of Western culture just prefers to move that foreskin back to show it to a girl.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's some theory.
Yeah.
The reason it looks so attractive, see the foreskin when it's erect, they look the same and so you see the penis glands that this is associated with a good time. But when not erect, it's covered and protected. So it's unprotected all the time. So it looks good because this is what we associate with. Okay, we're ready to go now. So it's cosmetic. It's what we see. Well.
But why do you miss why would you even want it back?
The underside of the foreskin had 10 to 20,000
Yeah, but
orgasms.
I don't think men are short of orgasms. I think, Masters and Johnson, they've done studies, and the maximum time that men take during intercourse is 2 to 3 minutes. Some not even a minute. So men don't have a lack of sensation. They have actually too much sensation.
Okay, the men with the reputation of being the best lovers in the world are the Latin lovers, Italians and so. If they had premature ejaculation, they would not have that reputation of being the greatest lovers. So premature ejaculation.
It's pretty much across the board. Men get very excited. Men don't last very long, and it's unanimous.
It's a mental thing. It's not a sensitive thing. It's a mental thing. Okay. With the sensitivity, without its natural covering, the penis gland is exposed to constant friction. The nerves become deeper down in, causing a lack of sensitivity. And we have he's a kind of businessman. You know what he's doing?
Well, no, what is he doing?
Those are birds. And
birds?
Yeah, that's the name of it.
A scooter type thing.
Scooters. And they rent it to people, and they just run it until it runs out of energy, and they abandoned. There's a site that you can find location of scooters that are out.
Oh,
and
GPS, and they pick them, and he picks them up.
and charges them and gets paid for returning them. That's what you just saw there.
Wow. So, I mean, are you short of sensation? Are you so
Well, this
absent
lack
of-
of sensitivity becomes more exaggerated in our 30s and 40s. Now, the underside of the foreskin has, I was saying how many nerve endings, but this is fine touch. These is exactly like the underside of your eyelids, producing natural lubrication, tender mucous membranes. So our intimacy with you is more. We are lacking intimacy with our woman. Now,
I think women want psychological and emotional intimacy, not sexual. I think.
well, you're depriving us of the intimacy that you have.
What's that?
You're depriving us of the intimacy that you have. You have your foreskin, the sensitive, frictionless gliding mechanism.
Yeah, but men
have
don't
that.
have a shortage of orgasms.
That's all we're left with. That's where all we're with is the orgasm, not the intimacy. You've deprived us of that. Our birthright. Mother Nature's going to get sex perfect. Because of this lack of sensitivity, our hallmark is that we have different sex differently. That a man with his natural sensitivity can keep erection and keep by making small motions deep within, affording constant clitoral genital contact. Whereas an unsensitive, circumcised man, we are left with driving to the orgasm and clitoral genital contact. We have to do more to overcome that. Genital contact ours is a jackhammer effect. If you ever have sex comparing the two, one is more sensual and the other one is gotta get to it.
Well, I mean, I have had some discussions with people. I mean, some women in Europe, Italy. Let's see, where else? Italy, maybe Greece, but their perception of men and sex and the whole thing is pretty much the same as Western women. I mean, it's pretty empty and unmeaningful or meaningless or pretty unremarkable across the board. So men are getting their fulfillment and so across the board.
So cut off sensitive parts of their sex organ. What the heck?
Well, no, I'm actually in agreement with you.
Yes.
I'm in agreement with you that it was non-consensual and that it shouldn't be done. Do I see advantageousness of it? Yes. It can prevent infections for both parties.
Prevent infections. Women have far more infections down there than men do, circumcised or not. And who is it that's complaining? Women have far more infections. There's whole sections of the drugstore set aside to get women to prevent their infections. So you can't complain about men having infections.
Yeah, I've even heard it actually can transmit more STDs, but you probably have evidence to refute
Here's
that.
USA. Our AIDS is 15%. In Europe, where they don't circumcise, is 0.3%. We have far more.
What about Africa and?
Well, okay, Africa. Here's in women of circumcised men is 55% more HIV, and in Africa where they're circumcised, they tell them that they will prevent AIDS if they're circumcised, so they don't use a condom, so they're getting more AIDS. It's a terrible way of controlling STDs. Oh, these people use their celebrity to fight against circumcision.
Oh, even him, huh?
Stern? Yeah, he's circumcised. He's Jewish.
Yeah, he's sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so is Dustin when he's Jewish.
So he's a proponent of anti-circumcision.
Yes, that's right.
Even her?
Her boys, the future king of England is going to be not circumcised. For some weird reason, the whole country does not circumcise, but the royalty did. There's a royal moil. Believe that. How about that? And she is not royalty. She's Spencer, and her boys, she made sure were not circumcised, so the King of England will be intact. Woo!
But most British people are intact anyway.
Right,
So.
that's right.
John
But not
Holmes, was he?
Like he needed more, you know.
Was he circumcised?
No, he's not circumcised. And so he's attacked at, what, a
That's
foot
funny.
or something?
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know what? I was looking for a bathroom like 15 minutes ago, and I got stopped in your booth, and I still have to go. But thanks for doing this. And
betcha.
I'm going to,
Sundays. See you Sundays.
Okay. Well, I don't live here. I live East Coast.
Oh, okay.
But oh, look at that. Now, this is great. I love this. So thanks for doing your advocacy.
Thanks for stopping.
And thanks for being child-free. Thank you.